Alrighty, it is time for the fucking around with Godot and finding out what the heck I'm doing. This is more or less just a kind of just doing whatever kind of deal. There's no real objective for this stream. It's just, let's see what we can do. Alright. Yeah, let's go to player. So this is a test game of a basic controller. There's an attack that does nothing. I have no interactable stuff set up. And this is essentially just watch tutorials and chill. Because I don't know what I'm doing. That should be fine. Alright. Problem is I don't know how to close that better, so let's start with this. We go to tools, project settings, input. All right. So okay. Input event. I don't remember how this code works. Okay. Let's do if input. I don't want to do a print debug interact. Gotta put that like that. Yep. I know what I'm doing. I definitely know what I'm doing. This is called interactable, really? Right. I should... Alright. Music's getting fused with the desktop audio. Since I'm not going to do anything interesting with this, and there really shouldn't be any audio, that shouldn't be a deal, but... Yeah. Pop back up to you. There it goes. Interactable. Alright. So what this needs to do is go... If... Enter... If current interactable is not equal to null, right? That should work. Yeah. I know how to code. I'm smart. Okay. Well, now what it needs to do is it need to do current interactable. Base interactable. Well, I need to replace this with interact. So then we can go to the player movement. Place this with the method interact. Then up here, where ask for current interactable, we can do current interactable dot interact. Since this is a base interactable, have it cube. Trust me, I know how to code. Okay. Okay. Alt tab. Okay, not quite. Is that it? Is that what I'm missing? Yeah, rerun this. Okay, that was what I was missing. Alright. So... You know, a smart programmer would clean up this code right here. Too bad I'm not a smart programmer. So what I want to do now... is... Turn the music up a bit. It's a bit quiet. What I can do now is I want to start experimenting with preserving values across scenes. So first, it's going to require me to make a new map, which definitely a thing I know how to do. Scene. Call this level 2. It's a 3D scene. Okay. So what this needs to do is I need a node 3D. Call this level. in this Node 3D needs... Was it a mesh instance that I was using? Box mesh. Okay. Let's see. Let's see, transform. There we go. Let's bump the X up to 15. 15. No, yeah, you know what? Let's get a crazy number in here. Let's do something crazy. Let's go. All right. Now I need to grab the player. All right. Player got. That's really epic. We save this. What I need to do is in this one, I want to make a new folder for interactables. All right. I'm going to add a new script, simply called level mover. So we just need func interactable. I have the code for this. Get tree, change scene to file. It needs to go to the level mover. And it needs to, instead of loading world, it needs to load level 2. Oh. Holy lag. I want to put that in here. Correct? Correct. So it should be as simple as just... I'm gonna grab this, duplicate it, move it up. I'm gonna grab the... Alright. So now what we gotta do is, you know, this should work. This should work, right? In theory, this will work. Yep, it does. I'm gonna copy this. Paste in here. What kind of thing is this? It is a CSG box. Okay. Just gotta cut this. Child node. Alright. Save. The player is still going to fall through because it never gave a collision. Use collision. Nice. I don't really like how the kick just stops you dead in your tracks, but for now it's fine. Now, I'm gonna make another interactable type. Because is it the player that holds money or is it the game manager? It's the game manager. This is interesting. So how do I want to do this? Because there's multiple ways we could do this. We could just make it so that our interactable gets the game manager when it needs it. But one thing we could do, actually, we could do export var the manager. I don't have a manager here yet. That's the thing, we need to find a manager. How do we do that? When it comes to here, I put... Where did I put the game manager here. On, like, the base thing here. Well, since everything's a child of this... Or var game manager. All right. On ready. Alright. What it's going to do with the game manager is it needs to run get money. Of Rand. Rand float. I want Rand. All right, random. I want from int, so we'll go 5 to 10. Happy with that? Happy with that. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. So one thing I can predict is that this isn't going to up. Oh, no, it does. All right. Neat. So we can do that. All right. So Let's head here. Grab our $8. And in level 2, I need to actually add a game manager here. Okay. No, ooh, that's a crash. Is that index on base? Because there's no label. So we need a label. And I'll replace this eventually with the actual, like a UI, with whatever I end up doing with this project. But what it's not going to do is it's not going to preserve this value, which is what we want. So, it's time for the first tutorial. Get YouTube up. Got to serving. Serve values across scenes. Godot. Alright. Here we go.
Most people have no clue that in 2023 the best way to make money on Amazon.
Just wait for the ad to end.
Data from one scene to another.
Alright, here we go.
The way we're going to do it is actually to do it in our handle level changed. And so what we're going to do is make a new function here. We're going to say function transfer data between scenes.
Well, they're using a scene switcher. Okay. We'll make a scene switcher first. Because I don't have one yet. It's actually a good idea to have one. So, scene. Scene switcher. So, this is simple enough. It'll have a function. So level mover, I need the scene switcher. So I'll have a basic func of switch scene, which is, I don't know how to work this. Let's look at what they did. Oh, they just did next level. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, we gotta look for some documentation. Godot switching scenes. Godot docs. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Hmm. All right. Well, let's see. All right. And we'll put a variable in here called wanted. Oop. Okay, and how did I do this for the main menu? Okay, I need to do get tree. All right. So if we go to our level mover, well, they didn't really have a script. They had a scene for this. All right. Scene node. Do scene changer, which will have the scene switcher. Go to the world. Then we can add the scene changer. Then we need to go to level mover. What it needs to do. So on ready. Call this scene manager in the code because it is a manager for the scene. All right. And do that. Good. No. Okay. What does it want from me? Oh, it needs. Oh, I need to set it as a var. Great. There it goes. There it goes. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now we can just do... Along with that, we might as well make another variable, which will make an export var. We'll call it scene to go, which by default we'll make this. We'll make it this scene. Right. So this can just run scene manager dot switch scene And that should work. So, okay, yeah, that works. Now, what we want to do, we do want to add an extra thing. So, if scene manager is not null, and if scene to go is not null, then run this and return. Good. And down here we'll do an else. Actually, we shouldn't need an else. It should just debug and we'll do it scene manager. And I'll probably just rename that to scene manager real quick. Yeah, I'll just rename this to scene manager. Which I'm sure won't cause any issues whatsoever. I'll just get rid of this. Cut. Move in a new scene switcher. Then I literally just rename this. Scene manager. Oh, wait, no, don't do that. You definitely need to run game manager. Just make it a child. No, make it a child. Okay. Want this as a child. Yeah, so it's going to crash if it doesn't find a scene manager. I can't put in a new scene manager. Not add a new script. No, that's just going to make a new one. Replace it. I don't want a new one. Why can I just... Why is it not letting me just put in a new scene manager? Agile node. Scene manager. No. Wait, I know. Because I'm making a boo-boo. I'm forgetting how the code works because I don't know how to use this game engine. It's in things that needs to be scene manager. And then I can put that in there. Go to the level mover. Plug this in. And now it should work no problem. Right. Boom. So, this is useless because it crashes anyway. Because if there's no scene changer, it crashes on ready. So that's useless to me. I don't know if there's a way I can make it so that if a certain thing causes a crash, I can make it shoot out the message of why it crashed, but I don't think I can. Alright. That's that. Now, while we're here, we might as well add it to the main menu. Just shove in a scene manager. It's called scene manager. So we'll do on ready var scene manager equal scene manager dot switch scene and it needs to go to there. Okay. So in theory, this should work fine. It's not working fine. Oh, because it's tied to the main menu. I'm an idiot. Just go to world. All right. Epic. Where are my errors? Ready, no interact area. That's just wrong. All right. Well, let me actually go back to things. And I want to make a new folder for UI. Folder, call this UI. Because I want to start experimenting with UI now. So we need to make a new scene. User interface. Call this main layer UI. And we need to go to 2D. We're making UI, so we need to where do I go with this? Where do I go with this? Oh boy. I'm looking at what we got here. That's more for like making a 2D game. Yeah, this would be UI stuff. So we want to label. This label will have $100, I guess. Layout, localization, tooltip, focus, theme, fonts. Display text, no. Layout, localization, tooltip, focus, mouse. Constants. Make it 100. Now we can go to the world. Delete, delete, delete. Instead, add. We actually probably could rename this to like main UI. Then we go here. Shove it in. And we can go back to main UI. Alright. Okay. Okay. That's gonna cause a crash because I never fixed it. So set on ready money counter. Needs to be replaced with, call it main UI, which will be equal to the main player UI. And what we want to do, we want to make a script, create, and you want to do func set money counter. And this needs an int money. Okay. All right. So just enable dot text. You just do this. Dot set money counter. And just shove money in there. So that should work. Probably. Yep, that works. Okay. Alright. Now I want to make another UI. So we need to make another scene UI, call it player UI. Which needs to take what the player has, copy the interaction label, paste the interaction label, and a new script, create. So we need to go down here. So we need to make a func interact label. Use. So I need to start by making a bool. We'll call is on. It's a bool. Correct. Right. Right, and I need to make a on ready var interaction label equals interaction label. And second, it needs to set the text. Dot text. Which needs to be another variable. We'll call call interact text, which is a string. Epic. Okay. Now, one other thing I want to do is I want to make it so that if interact string is not null, if it is null, do that, else just make it say check. Okay, do that and that. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Do this. Alright. Neato. Back. Right, because level 2 does not have the UI. It only has this stupid label. We can now cut. Put the main UI in. And run from here. We know what we're doing. Alright. Now, the whole thing I wanted to do. Learn how to preserve values between scenes. Here we go.
And we're going to need to pass in two scenes here. The old scene and new scene. Almost took.
Alright, so we need to go to the scene manager. We're going to make a func. Transfer. So transfer data scene. Transfer scene data. There, that's a better name. So, old scene and new scene. Do this tutorial. This being a tutorial. Let's watch the tutorial on stream. This is now a reaction stream. I'm a reaction channel now.
I almost typed "and" there. Don't want to do that. So when we do this and we're passing in our old and new scene, here is where we're going to want to transfer all of the data from one to another. And now what we're going to do is actually call this new function, this transfer data between scenes here, when we are in our handle level changed function. So as soon as we connect our next level and do all this, or as soon as we load in and instance it, then we are going to transfer data between scenes. So what I'm going to do is, after we've connected this here, I'm going to call this function, and we
Hold on. So, we're actually doing it pretty smart. So, yeah. Yeah, here's what we'll do. We'll go to main menu for testing reasons. So, this is known as world. So we want to grab all of this, back to the scene manager, and slip scene wanted. Now, to do this right, we'll do this, this, this. So yeah, that's not gonna cause errors. Since the main menu will be set up to do this the first time, you just do a simple boop, 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 Alright, save, play. This should run correctly. That's a crash. Alright, I just need to print something for now, so that it doesn't yell at me. We'll just do print as def. Okay, that works a whole lot better, and it's a lot easier in my head. That means we need to go to the level mover. Change this to be level 2. And it can just do that. That's much easier. Why is the code even like this in the first place? Okay. Did not want to do that. Okie doke. Oop. Oh, I'm struggling over here. I'm used to Unreal having 2 windows for this. Okay. Go to the scene manager now. Right, how are they doing this? Let's see. Another thing they're doing is they're loading an instance. So we'll try that. Instead of change scene on file, I'll load an instance of the world, so... Okay. So for now, let's do this. So next level equals load this dot instance all right.
From our current.
I'm checking the tutorial. Might know what that probably has a better idea of what it's doing. All right. Yeah, missing a var of next underscore level, which for now needs to be null. Okay. Stop complaining. All right.
Haven't filed in the
So next level dot layer equals -1. Add child. Next level. Ignore the animation thing. Next level dot connect. Level changed. Self. Have no idea what this code does. I'm gonna turn the tutorial back so that this lovely person who's explaining how this works can explain this to me. This doesn't make sense. All right.
Let me show you how we do stuff around here.
This is an ad. We don't care about ads. Ignore the ad. Ignore the ad. There we go.
In this video, we're going to finish the series of switching scenes that we've been doing in the last two videos by talking about how to send data from one scene to another. And so here you'll see I've added this clicks label in this button, and if I click it, this counter will increment by 1. Now, if I change scenes to our desert scene, you'll see that the clicks persist. So we're sending the data from our clicks in one scene to the other. And if I continue clicking, so we're at 14 and I change the scene again, we continue to persist and transfer that data to new scenes. Let's get started. So the first thing that we want to do is actually add some piece of data that we can pass between each of our scenes, our grass scene and our desert scene. In order to do that, we're just going to do a classic and make a button that increments a counter by 1. So in order to do that, I'm coming to our grass level here, and
so they have a current scene. So on ready var current, we'll do cur scene underscore. I'm also going to change this to be more like my naming convention. All right. Current scene. Can I get the current scene? Get current scene Godot. All right. So that should do. I'll add a quick print underscore debug. That will just spit this out. All right. That might do it. Okay. That did not do it. Probably because this is on switch scene, not the thing it needs to be on. Now I can't check. So I'll do a quick func. Like. And I think that should do it, because that might be initialize, I think. No. That's not right.
And what I'm going to do is just copy our change scene button and our label. So I'll take both of them and just hit Command D or Control D to copy them. And I'm going to have the move key. I'm just going to hold down for a little bit until they go below, slowly, so slowly. Okay, and then I'm just going to have switcher scene. I can click a few times, but when I change levels, we are not going to have those clicks persisted because we're not saving them. So how do we pass this data in between scenes? Well, there's a couple ways to do it. One way to do it that's quite common is to use what's called a singleton. A singleton is a node or a script or an object that lives, and there's only one of its kind. There's only one instance of it, and it usually lives or exists at the top of your tree or as a global object that any tree can access, or any object, node, or scene can access. And so what we would do is we make the singleton. In Godot, they're auto loads is what they're called, or that's how you create an object that loads in at a global level for your whole game. And so we would create an auto load script, and then we would have our clicks variable live there. And so whenever we increment it or hit the click button, we would increment our clicks variable in our global script in our auto load. Now, that's an okay solution, but if you're doing that for every piece of data in your game, it's going to be really cumbersome. Every object in your game is going to have access to all of your data, which you definitely don't want. That's kind of dangerous and not very good architecture. Another problem is that it's going to take up more memory than you need. You're going to have access to that everywhere in your game, when at a given time you're only going to need a subset of all that data. Really, even though there's definitely room for global variables and storing global values in your game, whenever you can store something locally, you want to do it if it makes sense and is easy to do. And it's pretty easy to do for us, so we're going to come up with a way here to actually pass some information in to another scene from our current scene. And in order to do that, we're going to leverage some of the architecture we've already built. And so if you're trying to do this, you haven't followed the previous two videos, that's okay. You'll be able to implement it and make it work in your own level, but the scene switching system that we've built over the last two videos is really going to help do that. Otherwise, you might have to do a little bit of adapting on your own, but you'll still be able to do it no issue. So how can we transfer this data from one scene to another? Well, the way we're going to do it is actually to do it in our handle level change. And so what we're going to do is make a new function here. We're going to say function transfer data between scenes. And we're going to need to pass in two scenes here, the old scene and new scene. I almost typed and there. Don't want to do that. So when we do this and we're passing in our old and new scene, here's where we're going to want to transfer all the data from one to another.
So another thing I should do, I should probably add the code that they have down here. So yeah, these do current scene dot. Hmm. All right. I get a peek at the top of their code.
From our current scene. And in order to do that, we're going to leverage some of the architecture we've already built. And so if you're trying to do
Because it's assuming it starts on one scene. Maybe I don't want to do that, so get current scene name. Let's try to see what we can do with that. So right now it's spitting out null. And I'm fairly confident it's spitting that out null. Right. I need to pass. Is that it? It's like a return. Okay. So it's printing debug current scene as null. We don't want that. We want the name of the scene, so we gotta figure that out. All right. Let's see. Okay, get tree current scene. All right, let's try that. Maybe that'll do the trick. Nope. Just spits null. All right. Well, maybe there's another way to transfer data. All right. All right. Okay, what we'll do for the sake of simplicity, because right now we don't need this mess, we are doing very simple things. Like we want to keep the game manager, which in theory should be persisting across every scene because it's the game manager. It manages everything that the game needs. The only exceptions are like menu or cutscenes, but we can make code to get around that. So a singleton for the game manager makes sense, and a lot of things are going to need stuff from the manager. So singleton. How do we do this? All right. You can use a master scene that loads and unloads other scenes as its children. However, this means you can no longer run those scenes individually and expect them to work correctly. All right. Ignore that. Anyway. So looking at the documentation. All right. So let's see. Need to go to project settings, auto load. Okay, so we just need to make a scene in here. We'll just do a node scene, call it the game manager. All right. All right. Now we can go to game manager. Right here, we can plug in the game manager. Where did I put the game manager? Plug in the game manager. Go to project settings, auto load. Do game manager add. That just creates a script. I don't want to do that. I need to go to... All right. Copy path. Do I have to create it in here? All right. How do I add things? Okay, there we go. Scenes, game manager. Let me close this and reopen it. Add. Okay. I can probably ignore that. So, actually, while I'm there, I can actually plug in more things that everything's going to need. So this is actually not a bad idea. So, because every scene's going to need a scene manager. Every scene's going to need a scene manager somewhere. So instead of having me manually place it every time, we can just do that. Every scene, well, most scenes are going to need the main menu UI. Do that. Save everything across the board. How broken is this gonna? Yep. First problem. So. All right. This is gonna be complicated. So first things first. Let's start with things on the main menu, which is just this script. So we can do git node. Again, documentation, being boring. I'm coding. Who doesn't love coding? Ooh, I'm not even typing code anymore. Doot. Being so boring. Git node, game manager, dot. Because I'm doing this as I go here. Okay. Now. Do. Okay, so. Yeah, let's focus on getting this working. So again, coding. I'm looking at the documentation. I'm figuring this out. Okay, so what does it want from me? So we have our thing here. We have our game manager. So let's see. So we need to get child. And we need scene manager. Root get child. Root dot get underscore child underscore count 1. You mean root's not? It's a root. Okay, we'll try this. That work better? Like that better? All right. So it's probably going to immediately crash because I don't know what I'm doing. Script inherits game manager. It doesn't need that. We can get rid of that because it doesn't need that. You don't need that. Okay, cannot use shorthand get node notation on a class that isn't a node. I'm going to complain about that. So, Okay, well now I'm going to need to reference something inside of this. I don't know how. So for now, I'm just going to ignore the problem. Because the problem is not my problem right now. My problem is getting this to function right. So this is going to crash. Ref counted. Ref counted. On object type. Counted. Can I just get rid of that? Please. I don't need that. I don't need ref counted. Can I just get rid of it? Okay, looks like we're making a new one. I'm sure removing this will have no vital consequences to everything. So we can make a new script. Up scripts. Yep, that works. Create. Doesn't need node. Guess it does need node. All right. So we have the game manager now. So the new question, and it got a child of some kind. Non-existent switch scene on base int. Because it thinks it's a child. It thinks it's an it. Int. Okay. This is gonna suck. Well, the one solution we can do is we can just not. Like, what if we do this? Reload. Okay. Base node, game manager, so. And we'll rename this to manager. Get child index int. Should be an index of 0, actually. It's the first child. Script inherits refs counted. Ooh. Okay. Get child. So, get underscored child. Well, what we can do to ignore this is we can just put the scene manager code into the game manager code. Like so. Which should make this work. Okay. Well, the question is, did we get out of here? I don't think we did. But for now, it's fine. And luckily, we can just once again do a boop boop. Move var money up to the top. Move ready up to the top for easier reading. So get money. Switch scene. Process. Doesn't need this. Don't think it needs this. We can get rid of that. We also don't need this. Boom. Okay. What's the problem now? Neab type ref counted. Okay. Well, what is this? We can close these. We're not using these. Discard all of those. Save. Oh, let me close it. Let's just close it. Save everything. Let's reboot Godot. This is a game. We are definitely doing something. So yeah, loads us into the main menu. Yeah. What is this? What is it calling? It's getting root game manager, which over here on auto load. All right. So okay. So another thing I can do is I can just get rid of this. This is no longer needed. Nope, cut. I want to get rid of it. Cut. There we go. So reload. Play. And it crashes. Time being. We'll just unpause. Crashes again. Okay. Close. Okay. Now, when it gets the game manager here, so we can go back to the main menu. Well, we did a func underscore ready. And that's when we set the manager to root game manager. Means I don't know how to call this. Okay. Okay, I was doing this right, so we're fine. Close. Save. Okay. Now, when it comes time for this, we need to call the game manager, and what we'll do to do that, do this. Don't need this. Base interactable. Okay, and it crashes, but we can ignore the crash. Of course, it doesn't do anything. Well, I broke it. Okay. So maybe I didn't, and we're just not. Okay. Ref counted. Send object of type node 3D. Well, it's not node 3D. It's a node. Switch scene script inherits native type. Huh. What if I make this a string? Go you. And it already does, like, all the code already does that, so. Okay. Godot. Ref. Counted. What the hell? Reference count. Okay, well, script inherits native type. Well, it doesn't need this, does it? Maybe it does? Well, another thing is that it's just not loading this. Okay, here's what we'll do. I'll do that. Does that cause errors on the code front? Yep, that causes problems because we need to switch scenes. I want to put the scene switcher in here. Okay, you know what? Let's call it here. Because this is essentially just going to be me rambling, just trying to figure out what I'm doing. And that's not fun. This has not been a fun stream. It's just me sitting in front of a mic, vaguely narrating coding. That's not interesting for anyone involved. So, goodbye.